Back home again for the Sox, and one day later than expected after yesterday's rainout, it's time for two at Guaranteed Rate Field. The Oakland Athletics, who've won 4 in a row, are in town. This is the first of the doubleheader. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. The Sox lost 12-0 last time we saw them, but a much different lineup today with both Garcias back.
Nice to see the injured get back to play, and a couple of guys went down, so there was a whole lot of movement in the organization, and we'll take a look at the guys that we have. Leury Garcia came back, Avi came back, both in a starting lineup, both from the disabled list. Jose Rondon going down to Charlotte. Trace Thompson, unfortunately, designated for assignment. Won't see him again. I assume we're going to see Jose Rondon again, but in the meantime, the Garcias are back, and hopefully they will play the way they did before they got hurt.
And that's not the only movement in this White Sox organization, because yesterday nearly 20 guys were promoted in the minor leagues. That next wave is coming.
With the first half of the season gone, it's time to move some guys up and see what they can do at a higher level, and that's exactly what the Sox did. And here's some of the notables. Eloy Jimenez, Zebi Zavala went to AAA at Charlotte. Well, they'll be able to see what they can do, and hopefully they'll do what they did in AA. Promoted to AA Birmingham, Dylan Cease, who tore it up in A-ball. Luis Basabe, one of the great defenders who's hitting the baseball. Joel Booker, who had 4 hits in his first game at Birmingham. And promoted to Winston-Salem, Luis Robert, now fully healthy, and when healthy, he's really a force. He's 6'4", he's 205, he can fly, he can hit. It'll be nice to see him moving up.
And the veteran on the mound in game number 1, James Shields, 36 years old. Last time the A's saw him, he was coming out of the bullpen. Today, he tries to help the pen in the first of 2. First pitch coming up shortly.
Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Cloudy skies at Guaranteed Rate Field, but we will get both games in, it looks like. That's what the forecast says as the A's come in winners of 4 straight. The Sox have lost 7 straight, and they will swing against Sean Manaea, who grew up in the Valparaiso area, went to high school in Maryville. His father is here wearing a Manaea Mania shirt, his dad from American Samoa. And Sean Manaea has a huge cheering section at the ballpark. In fact, Manaea Mania is a little difficult to spell. There are a lot of M's and A's, and so earlier on they had a little trouble. No, give me that A. Nope, the wrong A. No, the other A. The A's are the same. The A's are the same. You don't need to trade.
That is a good look, however, and eventually they're going to get it right, but I don't think our time constraints will allow us for them to assemble it.
I don't think so. So we're going to show you the Webb Auto Group starting lineup for the Oakland Athletics. Bob Melvin is the manager. Dustin Fowler at the top in his first game in this ballpark since last June. Then Simeon and Lowry, Davis, Olson, and Canna, Piscotty, Lucroy, and Barreto. Matt Joyce activated, but not in the lineup for Game 1.
Defensive setup for our Sox presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky is going to throw them out there today. It's the Garcias at the corners in the outfield. Nice to see them back with Adam Engel in the middle. Then it's Yolmer, Tim, Yohan, and Jose in the infield with Kevin Smith getting the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is James Shields. On for his 16th start, 17th game overall, 2-8, the ERA, a little above 4.5. You look at the rest of the numbers, and left-handers not doing much at 198. That's because of a very good and improved straight change. The umpires for the game today, Jim Wolf has the plate, John Lipka's at first base, and it's Ryan Blackney at second, and Sam Holbrook, the crew chief, he's at third. Well, the best in the business, Bob Melvin. You probably don't hear quite as much about him as you would some of the other managers because he does manage in Oakland, but he is a good one and has been for quite some time. Just a little above 500, but he hasn't had that good a team to deal with. But very rarely will he ever get outmanaged. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, and on this overcast day, a little humid, but otherwise a very nice day because the rain is not here. We're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to throw it over to my rain-drenched partner, Jason Benetti, from that walk back in Cleveland.
Yeah, we're still drying out from the thunderstorm that came through at Progressive Field, but glad to be back home. Sox and A's playing 2 today as James Shields faces Dustin Fowler to lead the game off. Oakland is 38-36, 2 games over 500 coming into this game. And ball 1 to Dustin Fowler, who's 23 for 96 in the big leagues this year after his knee injury late last June against the Sox. Two and 0 from Shields to Fowler. And this Oakland team, if there's one thing to watch out for that they do very well, it's the power game. They're 5th in Major League Baseball, just short of 100 home runs as a group.
They can hit them on the road also. They lead Major League Baseball in hitting home runs away from home. So this is a team with a whole lot of power. Chapman is out of the lineup. He's their third baseman. He has a lot of power, but they certainly make up for it every place else.
2-2 on Fowler. Well, at San Diego on Wednesday, just a couple of days ago, this is what happened. The Padres took the brunt of 5 home runs off of Oakland bats. And there is that changeup you were talking about. Fowler wiped away by Shields to start the game.
James, now that the fastball has gotten a few more miles an hour, that changeup has been better, and it moves away from the left-handers. Good motion, stays over the top with it. This one sinks low and away, and Fowler with that high leg kick cannot wait back long enough, and he's a strikeout victim.
Oakland will strike out, as you might expect, considering the home run total. They are in the bottom third. The A's are Major League Baseball in strikeouts by batters, but neither of these pitching staffs has a high strikeout rate, so we might see a lot of balls in play in this 4-game series. We'll see. There's the shift on for our old pal Marcus Semien, the shortstop for Oakland. '90 upstairs, 1-2.
It's a good place to throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball up and out of the zone and hope that the hitter expands his strike zone, and Marcus can do that.
To third, Yolmer Sanchez for out number 2. James Shields, last time we saw him, it was a start against the Tigers. He went 41 fastballs, some cutters, 23 curveballs, and 15 changeups out of 103. He will reach into the bag and pull out any number of pitches.
He's got that slow curveball that he uses on occasion. His regular curveball is good enough, and now you're seeing a man who is most likely to be moving along before the trade deadline.
Well, that at points has been the story of his career. He's been a commodity, Jed Lowrie.
And he's having a terrific year. When you take a look at the runs batted in, you see 47 with 11 home runs. The fact that left-handed, he's got much more power.
On the ground, Abreu comes off the bag to feed Shields and retire the side. James, a very clean 1-2-3 first. And the Sox will swing against Manaea after this. Lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. The Garcias return. Avi in the 2 spot today. Leori in the 6th position.
Defensive setup for the A's presented by UI Health. This is how Bob Melvin's going to put him out there. And there you see it.
Tim Anderson leads it off against the left-handed pitcher for strike 1. Manaea, age 26, facing Tim at 24, who has the 4th best first inning batting average in Major League Baseball at .417. Into the sky, right center field, well hit. Fowler at the track makes the play for out number 1. As we check in for the first time today with Chuck Garfien. Hi, Chuck.
Avi Garcia is playing his first game in 2 months. It was not supposed to be this long when he hurt his hamstring 2 months ago, but there was a snag in his recovery. When he started doing his initial workouts from the hamstring injury, he ended up injuring his knee as well. So it took a while for him to finally get back here, but he says he's feeling really good. He looked really good in Charlotte on his rehab assignment in 7 games, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 9 RBIs. He's hoping to stay hot here, now back with the White Sox.
Chuck, we'll see how it goes today, but you said it. 3 doubles, 3 homers, 9 for 25 in his rehab stint with Charlotte for Avi Garcia, and he showed that he was ready to come back to the big leagues.
And hopefully he can swing it like he did last year when he hit .330. He's got a tough opponent in Manaea. He got off to just a great start this year. April was wonderful for him. May not so good. All in all, 6-6. But A quality probably anywhere from a low 2 to a high 3 as far as a starting pitcher is concerned. But he's got a no-hitter to his credit this year, and he was a very happy young man, as you would expect.
That was back in April. As he misses high with a fastball to Garcia, who has just 73 major league at-bats so far in 2018 before that hamstring injury against Seattle. A boomerang to Minaya. Underhand peg for out number 2.
Man who made that play is our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher, and you look at the numbers, ERA in the mid-3s. Not a strikeout pitcher, doesn't have a big fastball. He does have a great straight change and excellent control, as you can see. Right-handers and left-handers pretty much alike, but he has given up 14 home runs as he's around the plate a lot. So former high draft pick, #1, a compensation pick for Kansas City, then traded over to the Oaklands, where he's done a nice job.
He fires in a strike to Jose Abreu. Nobody in this Sox lineup has seen Minaya in their major league careers.
Very much the advantage to the pitcher.
You mentioned the changeup for Minaya. That is the second most used pitch for him this year, and he'll mix in that slider too.
He prefers the 4-seam over the 2-seam fastball, throws a pretty decent slider. And again, not overpowering, but because he's around the plate so much, he's very effective.
0-2. That's there for strike 3 at 93. Still no base runners in game number 1. Second inning on tap. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Farmers Cooperative Telephone Company in Tama County, Iowa. Hi, everybody, west of Cedar Rapids. Thanks for stopping by. No score after 1. And the power hitting Chris Davis takes ball 1 from James Shields. 20 home runs for Davis this year. He's one of 4 guys in Major League Baseball with 20 or more home runs.
He's got big power to all fields, and the outfield plays him straight away. It kind of helps you to be a shorter power hitter. I mean, if you can find those guys, you don't find many, but Davis is one of those guys, and the reason is you just have a smaller strike zone.
A little bit high, 3-0. And the strike zone, depending on the player, as you see, the top 4 home run hitters in Major League Baseball are those 4 guys. #1 in the National League is Bryce Harper with 19.
The oddity really is 3 of the 4 are right-hand hitters, and Ramirez, as we know, because we saw a whole lot of them in the last 2 weeks, he's a switch hitter.
Yeah, too much of him, I think, in the last couple weeks.
It was certainly enough.
Fouled off his body, 3-2 on Davis, who's 30 years old this year. Yeah, James Shields, last he threw against Oakland, it was April, and part of the sweep at the Oakland Coliseum. Shields came in the 14th inning as an emergency arm and gave up the game-winning hit for Matt Olson. Tim at shortstop loads up a throw that's off the mark, but the tag is there. Abreu saves out number 1. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. One down for Matt Olson, who had that game winner against Shields back in April. That was a fun game, wasn't it?
Oh, that was a delight, yeah.
5 hours, 48 minutes.
Didn't seem like it would ever end, and unfortunately, James was on the back end of that one, coming out of the bullpen, I think, for just the 2nd time in his career, and it didn't work very well.
That was one of those moments where, talking to Ricky Renteria afterward, you know it about James Shields, but then you see it in action. He was the one that said, hey, I want to throw in this game if you need somebody. Called a strike, 1-1 on Olson. '24-year-old left-hand bat for Oakland with 15 home runs. Ground ball and under the glove of Moncada, first base runner.
You would think that would be 4. We'll take another look. Right at him, plays it off to the side, and it goes by him.
Well, Ricky Renteria, about one of those plays in Cleveland, said, look, that's a play that's got to be made. He tries to be a very positive influence, but also said, conversely, if people in this clubhouse can't tell you that you've got to make certain plays, I don't know who's going to.
Well, that's part of it. And certainly one of the things you have to do, if you can, is play the ball as close to in front of you as possible. When you're back that far at second, you had some time.
It's footwork, right?
You just move over. I mean, it's just a question of knowing that if you go down with 2 hands, if it takes a bad hop, it's going to hit into your body, but it's going to stay right there. And as a second baseman, if it bounces off your body and stays in front of you, you have all kinds of time to throw him out. But off to the side, if it gets either under the glove as it did that time or bounces over the glove, it's going into right field.
As it did. And Canna facing Shields with a runner on. Two balls and a strike on Mark Canna.
Canna's been their jack of all trades. He can play any outfield position and give you a good effort. We saw him in center field in Oakland. He can also play first base. So for Bob Melvin, he gives him a certain sense of security, knowing that regardless of where the hole is, Canna can fill it.
Three and one from Shields to Canna. Stephen Piscotty on deck. And then Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. This Oakland team trying to hang around in the American League West, and that's getting tougher to do by the day with Houston up to 50 wins and a 3.5 game lead over Seattle. Ball 4, 2 on for Piscotty, and there you see it. The Mariners trying to cling, and the Angels, despite maybe one of the best weeks in baseball history from Mike Trout, 9.5 back.
It'll be tough with their pitching staff to hang around with the Astros. Question is, can you play well enough to then think about a wild card in the 3rd spot? You'd have to figure it's going to be very tough for Seattle to hang around. They had a very, very tough Very tough go in New York. The Yankees swept them in their series. But they'll do that to a lot of teams.
Yeah, Stanton with the big home run. If you didn't see it, you may live in a cave without television or any devices. As Piscotty takes a strike. He was a tough out in that series at the Coliseum. He was 6 for 13 with 4 doubles.
He can hit the ball all over, and that makes him a tougher out.
On the ground past Anderson into left field, and that will load the bases. Olson to third, Canna to second. All of this started with the error, then a walk, then a single, and now Lucroy the catcher.
And we're just easing through the left side. Tim Anderson playing a little more shallow than he would normally play. Actually diving with the ball behind him, but no chance to get that one. So a tough situation early game for James Shields.
He was originally scheduled to pitch today. Lucas Giolito was going to be the starter yesterday, but the rain came, and Sox and A's playing 2 today, and Shields gets the ball in game 1.
Matt Williams, the coach at third. And one of the things that James has been able to coordinate with Yolmer is a good pickoff play to third base. You would think that secondary lead by Olson would be shortened up some.
0-2 on Lucroy.
Done a nice job for them catching some young pitchers. They like him certainly, and they believe that although he's here on a 1-year contract, there's a good chance that they might bring him back, because they're going to have a young staff again next year, and Lucroy is a veteran catcher.
He was the catcher for that Manaea no-hitter back in April, and he lays off the high fastball. 1-2.
Brewer, the bases loaded, has been very impressive for Jonathan Lucroy. Power numbers for him are down, but hitting in the 250s.
That fades inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tried to throw that inside cutter, which he does a lot of, and wanted Lucroy to give up on it, which he did, but it was a little too far inside for Jim Wolf.
Olson at third, Canna at second, Piscotty at first. 2-2 is outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There's Franklin Barreto, the 22-year-old who had his first career home run against the Sox last year. Lucroy may have helped James out that time. Still 3-2, too close to take, he thought.
Well, Lucroy doesn't walk a lot, but he doesn't strike out a lot either. Only 33 strikeouts and 197 at bats.
Three and two. In the air, first base side, foul territory. Abreu does not have room.
Wind blowing to the right field corner. Actually, that ball stayed in play for a while, but I think the wind grabbed it and pushed it out of play.
Looks like the rain will stay away for the most part this evening, which is good news with 2 games on the schedule. Hit well center field. Angle is underneath. The run will come home. Olson tagging from third. Canna on his way to third. And Oakland has the lead at 1-0.
Throw coming in, and there's no doubt that Olson was hustling to make sure that he got there. Interesting carom on that throw to third base. Sacrifice fly by Lucroy. Drives in his 20th run and puts the Oaklands on the board.
Error, walk, single, sac, fly. And here comes Barreto. That first home run he hit was about 1 year ago to the date exactly. It was June 24th of last year, and he was facing James Shields. It was a first career homer day for Oakland. It wasn't announced as a promotion, but that's what it ended up being. Olson homered, Jacob Brugman homered, Franklin Barreto with his first career homer. Final score 10-2.
This team can hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's what they depend on.
One and one on Barreto. And nice catch by Smith to save a run. Canna at third. Going to think about coming home.
Kevin has been very good behind the plate. He's shown good movement, the ability to dig the ball out of the dirt, smother it when he has to, when he can't catch it. And this one stuck in the glove. As James pulled it a bit wide of the plate.
Two and one.
Brito came over in a deal with Toronto and turned out to be a good trade for both teams. Josh Donaldson going to Toronto, where he starred. Brito came over with Kendall Graveman, Sean Nolan, and Brett Lowry. We remember Brett Lowry. They all came Oakland's way. That was back in 2014.
When we saw Kendall Graveman a couple years ago, thought, well, he's going to win the Cy Young at some point, and it just has not gone that way for him.
No, he looked really good. But then injuries, and that's what happens. You can't really avoid some of the injuries. You don't know which pitchers are going to hold up. Sometimes guys have magnificent motions, and you think they're going to stay together, and they just don't. Other times guys have unique motions, like Chris Sale. You think, well, he'll break down perhaps, but he's been terribly durable, so you can't really tell.
Yeah, Graveman in the big leagues this year has a 7.60 ERA. Runner goes from first. Barreto a drive, left field, and gone again. He's got 4 career homers. 3 have come against the Sox, 2 against Shields.
The home run in Oakland was identical to that, a towering fly ball that just didn't come down. This looked like a cutter, and I think James wanted to throw it inside, but unfortunately it got the middle of the plate, and a towering fly ball wends its way out of the park. Our forward home run replay, and just like that, it's 4-0, and Oakland, as they've done, continues to hit home runs on the road.
So now 22 straight games away from home, the A's have at least 1 home run, and that is a franchise record, beating the 2013 team.
It's really a remarkable run when you think about it.
So 99 homers for the team this year.
When you open the door,
yeah,
we say it all the time, you give a team 4 outs in an inning, sometimes 5 outs, it's going to come back to bite you. These runs all unearned, but they're up there. It's 4-zip.
Now it's time for Lowe's whole team together. And it's the most homers in Major League Baseball. Oakland top 5 with some famed company in the 2018 standings. Bunch of division leaders and playoff contenders. Yeah, there's a reason we say it all the time. It's because it happens all the time. In Major League Baseball, if you open the door, something bad happens.
Especially with a decent offensive club. And when you have a club that hits as many home runs as Oakland, you want to keep it to 3 outs in an inning, the allotted 3.
Chuck?
Yeah, Rick Renteria said before the game, these guys, talking about his team, they need to play clean baseball. They got to do the little things because that's going to keep you in games. But if you do not play clean baseball, and this whole inning began with that error by Yoan Moncada, things like this can happen.
Tim to the right of second. Abreu gets pulled off the bag, but he anchored himself well enough. 4 out number 3. 4 unearned runs. Barreto leads the charge.
Local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Bruce Wayne is here.
He's Batman or Batboy.
Have to be on the field if he was bad boy.
Not necessarily. He's got a good seat. I like that.
Manaea misses 2-0 to Matt Davidson, who, you talk about road home runs, he's got 13 homers this year. 11 have been away from here.
Thought he hit 14 in Kansas City.
There's a fastball at 92. 2 balls and a strike from Manaea. Andrian High School in Merrillville. Sean Manaea, his cheering section we showed you earlier. Posed this question on Twitter, and I would like your response as well. Who is your favorite Andrian High School alumnus? Is it Sean Manaea? Is it former Notre Dame basketball star Luke Herringody?
Yeah, it's not him.
Or C, radio TV talking head Dan Dakich?
Dan Dakich, of course.
Of those 3, you would take Dan?
Well, yeah, I prefer talking heads.
Dan responded within 40 seconds and said himself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
His humility is tremendous. Strike 3. 4 up, 4 down for Manaea. Back-to-back strikeouts dating back to the first.
Manaea has a very lively fastball. It's not an overwhelming fastball, but it has some late life. That's because he slings it from the side. And that one thrown right by Matt Davidson. So for Manaea, He had pinpoint control. He usually has very good control, but because he has a lot of moving parts, occasionally he loses that release point. Then things don't go very well for him. And just look at the month of May as an example.
Yeah, but back in the day, you know, you had all of these different deliveries. Even Hideo Nomo comes up and turns his back, and Louis Tiant, and all of the things that you had, and people could throw strikes. So what's changed? We've got more uniform deliveries nowadays. We can agree on that, right?
Yes, but it's called max effort. That's changed. And the application is called pitching, and we have a lot of people that like to throw.
Kevin Smith, opposite way again.
Kevin is worn out right in right center field. He makes contact. Normally, when he hits the ball, it finds a hole, and he's been a revelation since coming up from the minor leagues. So he takes this ball the opposite way, and as have so many others before that, it finds a hole.
He's 16 of 39.
In answer to your question, max effort, you have a lot of people that really like to throw it as hard as they can and then look up at the scoreboard and find out the velocity. And I think in many ways that's how you get to the major leagues. Guys are looking at velocity instead of looking at pitching, and I think that's one of the reasons why one of the downsides is that you don't feel your position as well because you're being pulled off the mound to the opposite side of your throwing arm, which for a left-hander is the third base side, a right-hander is the first base side. That's number one. The other is control suffers. And so I think that's just the era we're going into. You have a lot of guys concerned about how quickly they can get the ball from their hand to the catcher's glove instead of understanding that it's pinpoint control and always has been that will get more hitters out than sheer velocity.
Well, the key then is to pay for it, right? When that gets incentivized, when control gets incentivized in terms of salary, you'll see more of it, right?
I'm not sure exactly how you would do that.
Welcome back, Leury Garcia. Smith to second, back-to-back hits with one out.
That ball hit hard, and Leury, who was 9 for 9 in stolen bases when he got hurt, will not have a chance to steal one here, but he's a very valuable weapon when he's healthy, and he is entirely healthy now.
The way people are trying to create science or data to reflect control is taking a look at where catchers set up, taking a look at where pitchers normally throw certain pitches, and trying to determine how well the pitcher hits the intended target. So if we develop that statistically, that ball's hit to center field. Fowler is on it though, and Moncada a line drive out number 2.
Let me explain how one of the great pitchers in the history of the game got to be a great pitcher. When Sandy Koufax signed his contract originally, there was a rule in baseball: if you got over $4,000 to sign, you had to stay in the major leagues. So he didn't have a chance to go to minor leagues and learn how to control his big fastball. But in the major leagues, a catcher at the time by the name of Norm Sherry, it was the Sherry brothers, played for the Dodgers. Norm was the catcher, Larry was the pitcher. He took him in the bullpen and he said, look, I know you can throw really hard, upwards of 100 miles an hour. I want you to throw 92, and I want you to hit my glove. And they went down there and worked tirelessly at just throwing 92 and hitting his glove. And eventually he was able to do that. So what happened? He started adding a couple miles an hour. Pretty soon he was at 93 and then 94. And then when he became a great pitcher, he could throw his 98 to 100 mile an hour fastball right to the glove. But he learned it by taking a number of steps backwards to take those 5 steps forward. And that seems to be the way to do it, is take guys away from the big fastball until they have command of that big fastball, if they have to back up a little bit velocity-wise, and you'll get pitchers instead of throwers. The more throwers you have, the more you open yourself up to injury and just losing in the major leagues when you don't have to.
How do you get attention, though, with the pro showcases and that whole circuit? How do you get attention if you don't throw hard?
Well, it's a fastball that's going to get you signed, and then you learn how to pitch afterwards. And I think that's some of the things that we're going to learn as an industry. You know, you look at some of the guys who have had very long careers, and there's a few of them that have good changeups. Jamie Moyer comes to mind. James Shields, another one of those guys, had a great changeup. He's got a good changeup now, but he's been around a long time, eating up a whole lot of innings without that major fastball that a lot of other guys have. And so I think we get to the craft of pitching as opposed to throwing. And I think you'll find less injuries because we're seeing a proliferation of injuries now, the likes of which we've never seen. And that's got to be troubling because it's hard to find quality pitchers.
Bookend strikeouts for Minaya, wading through trouble in the second inning.
A photo or video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Game number one of this Twin Bills, Sox and A's. In the third inning, Oakland with a 3-run home run from the 9-hitter Franklin Barreto to give the A's that big cushion after Lucroy has driven in a run with a sacrifice fly as Sanchez gets ready to throw out Simeon. Sox fans join us as the Sox take on the A's tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox cap presented by CIBC Banking that fits your life. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. I like that hat.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
A quality hat.
Watch the Sandlot after the game tomorrow. As there's ball one to Jed Lowry. That pitching matchup tomorrow shows Dylan Covey on the mound for the Sox, and he has been tremendous this year for the most part, outside of a couple games against Cleveland.
Well, there's a few people going to struggle against the Tribe, especially with their home run hitting and their balance in the lineup between right and left-hand hitters. For a time, they started 4 switch hitters, so you could never really get an advantage against that lineup. Lowry, one of those switch hitters, did almost identical average-wise from either side.
2-1. Two and one to Lowry. In the air, right-hand side. Avi Garcia. Let's go back to the first out of this inning.
You know, if you're going to play third base, you have to make a decision which balls you can come forward on and which you have to give some ground. And Casey Ulmer, who is really good, understanding the game and all the angles that go with it, he realized he couldn't charge this ball, so he gives some ground. He also knows that he's got a little time. It's a hard hit ball, and that usually determines if you move up or you move back. Ulmer does it well, and he's well schooled at just about every position. He understands the footwork, he understands you don't have to be fast at third.
Tim goes high for out number 3, and James Shields could serve some pitches. Bottom 3 after this.
In one of his first games with the AAA Charlotte Knights. Coverage begins at 6. You can also stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
A lot of promotions yesterday after the first half in the minor leagues. Jimenez going up to AAA. Got himself a rain delay in yesterday's opener for him, but after that got into the Charlotte Knights uniform for the first time. Ian Hamilton, Sebi Zavala up to AAA. As Simeon has out number 1. Speaking of that, let's take a look at the White Sox Farm Report presented by Guaranteed Rate and a full list of the promotions from yesterday.
There's a bunch of them. Dylan Cease makes his way to Birmingham. Blake Battenfield, who threw very well, gets promoted to Winston-Salem. Louis Basabe, who is a great outfielder and really starting to hit the baseball, along with Joel Booker. They also went to AA, so a lot of very happy farm hands for the Sox, as they've never been shy about moving guys up. If they excel at one level, they will move them up. Very rarely in the White Sox organization are you ever blocked, which is a ringing endorsement to some of the young players thinking about signing a contract with the Sox. You're never going to get stopped at one level. I mean, that just never happens.
On Eloy Jimenez last night, he got his first AAA hit. The one thing I liked from what he said post-game was he got to first and he thought, wow, I just got my first AAA hit. And if you've ever seen him talk or gotten a chance to talk with him, he has this genuine smile. He's just very exuberant about the game. He loves playing baseball. He's 21 years old. And some guys would say, well, yeah, it's another step in my development. He was legitimately excited to have his first AAA hit. Upstairs, Manaya at 93 for out number 2, as up comes Avi Garcia, the subject of our one thing with the skipper. What does adding Avi Garcia and Leori Garcia back to the lineup mean to you?
Stability. You know, just guys that have been around that obviously they haven't been up here in a bit. They're probably getting their feet wet still again from recovering from their injury, but you know, guys that have been around, that have had some successes, and are going to give us a chance to lengthen out that lineup a little bit.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was in Ricky's office, not a furniture showroom, by the way. But stability to the lineup. There's some depth here with both of them coming back.
Well, Leuri was doing very well when he went down. Avi really never got a chance to get his feet on the ground, just 73 at bats, and then he got hurt. has not been back since. He's coming off just a great year last year. He's looking to duplicate that, and Leury gives Ricky Renteria a chance to use him just about anywhere, and he gives you a pretty good outing. Plus, he's got great speed.
And at this point last year, Avi had 11 homers and 51 RBIs. That's how good of a season he was having, and that's what he meant to this offense at that point. You look at this year, you throw in his start, which was kind of cold, and then the injury. He was out for 2 months. He's got 1 home run, 4 RBIs. That's a whole lot of offense missing from this team that they had last year. It's tough to make that up.
Another factor, Chuck, is that for Avi especially, not so much Leury because he was hurt a month later, but for Avi, this is like a spring training for him because he did very well in his rehabs, but nobody has like a 6, 7, 8 game spring training. So it's going to take him a while.
92, nice pitch. 1, 2, 3 for Minaya to the 4th inning after this.
One of these, it says Pick Pito, and that is the nickname of Jose Abreu. Obviously, he has deserved to go to the All-Star game, and hopefully the fans will vote him in. So that's it, folks.
Pick Pito.
Pick Pito. And if you win today, if you're smart enough, quick enough, and on top of your game, you can have this lovely shirt.
You have a future in game shows, I think.
Thanks.
Yeah, you could turn some letters.
Be the new Chuck Woolery.
2-0 on Olson. I don't know that you and Love Connection is a really great idea.
True, I could be the old Chuck Woolery.
James Shields has 2 1-2-3 innings, and he was on his way to a 3rd in the 2nd inning. He had 1 out, nobody on, got a ground ball from Olson. Error at second base by Moncada, and then suddenly the spigot opened and 4 runs crossed. Adam Engel in charge of center field. 1 down. Here is your Sox math question for today. Number of games in the next Sox road trip multiplied by the number of Sox games today, and then stay tuned for game number 2. Because this is the first part of the final Sox match, but you actually can't win anything here in game number 1.
You can't. ... Oh, this is
a cliffhanger.
That's a crafty way of keeping people around, and that's a crafty hat.
When he misses glove side, where does he miss?
Right down the middle.
Strike 1 to Canna. That is, you know what? It's a great Halloween costume.
Very large glove, by the way.
Yeah, and he's wearing it as though it is his actual glove that he brought to the game to catch foul balls.
Well, the thing is, if you are a pitcher who gives up a lot of balls hit back through the middle, that glove comes in handy because you can hide your whole body behind it.
His cousin, little known fact, his cousin was the hamburger helper guy.
I don't remember that. My hamburgers don't need any help.
Plain. Their logo was that glove.
I remember that.
Yeah. So how did you not understand?
Well, showbiz, you know.
Playing the part. Shields to Canna. Check swing. He may have gone, and he did, in fact. So there's out number 2.
That one a good slider, and Canna cannot check it up. No appeal. Jim Wolf said, yes, you did. You swung, you're out.
2 down for Stephen Piscotty, who's now 7 out of 14 against the Sox this year with his second inning single. You know, James Shields, when he first got to the Sox, had some rough outings, but you think about this year and some of the short outings for the Sox young starters to start this season. And James Shields deserves quite a bit of credit for preserving the bullpen when he has, which has been most of his starts in 2018.
When you take a look at the body of work, you'll realize that no, he hasn't won as much as he would have liked. The ERA is not where he would like it. However, he has taken the game deep most each and every time, and there is a premium on that. You stay out of the bullpen, and he's been a very valuable man because of his experience.
Yeah, I don't think either of us is arguing that he should be an all-star or win the Cy Young Award or anything like that based on ERA. But if you don't have him in this rotation, there could be some carnage in the bullpen.
If you don't have him in this rotation, there's a few guys in that pen that might not be there because they would be used, tired, and overused in certain instances. And with James getting a start every 5 days, and he takes the ball each and every time, he saves the pen.
Just over the speed limit, and James Shields captures strikeout number 3. My goodness. Mr. Cardoza, your hat's too large. White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Jose Abreu takes ball number 1, and that shirt we showed you, the tank top that Steve was holding up, is a limited edition, by the way. Not many were printed, so stick around for Sox Math in Game 2. That could be yours, and you could be the only one on your block with one.
It's a quality shirt.
Yeah.
With a good sentiment to go with it. And there's, look at the man that we hope, and he should, be representing this ball club at the All-Star game.
He's been the leading vote getter at first base in the American League, but that doesn't mean you should stop voting with the hashtag #VoteAbreu. 2-1 on Jose, and his remarkable consistency puts him up there with some great contemporary Sox sluggers.
Frank Thomas, Paul Konerko, Magda Ordonez, and behind him, Jermaine Dye, Carlos Lee, Albert Bell. Some notables on that list. That was a good change by Manaea, and he's got a dandy. Doesn't tip it at all. Same release point as his fastball, same arm velocity as his fastball, and you can't read it out of his hand.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Manaea, when he was in the Kansas City organization, was known as something of a slow worker, but we have not seen that much today at all.
No, he's really picked up the speed, and consequently his control has been almost letter perfect this year.
Payoff pitch on the ground, left-hand side. Semien, long throw, and he got him.
Well, good play by Olson. Marcus Semien, not known for a great arm. He got it across, and then Olson picked it out of the dirt. This one obscured by Lowry for the moment, and then a one-hop throw. Nice pick by Olson.
You talked the other day about not getting locked in over at first.
Yeah, that's something that first basemen don't want to do, and a lot of them will shift their weight depending on where the throw is coming from. But if you get locked in, you can't really move to either side. At that time, he had a pretty good idea where the throw was coming from, and he was in good position, made the play.
Able to adjust for that first out with Davidson coming up. Don't forget, this is game 1 of 2. Davidson hits a rocket foul, 0-2. Chris Bassett and Lucas Giolito, your pitching matchup for the second game, which is scheduled to start somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes after game number 1, and Southpaw will be here for both.
Southpaw's going to go the distance. Just happy it's not a red hot day with that lovely outfit.
By homestand, it has been a thoroughly confusing weather year. We leave, it's 90 degrees. We come back, it's Portland, Oregon.
It is that.
Oh, and 2, Manaea to Davidson. Check swing foul.
The A's are playing without Matt Chapman, and he is an outstanding third baseman with a whole lot of power. He had a sore hand, seemingly from spring training on, and then he played through it. It was giving him some problems, but he played through it and then got hit in the same hand, his left hand, and now he's on the shelf for a while. So they're trying to mix and match. Lowry has had a great year, but he's probably best suited as a second baseman these days, having to play third. But the building blocks in the infield, Chapman and Olson, are good ones, and they should be around for a long time for Oakland.
Manaea has 6 strikeouts. Join us July 11th for Game Changers, Latinos in Sports Business, presented by Modelo and St. Xavier University. The event features photo ops with Sox great Jose Contreras, insights from sports industry professionals, and networking opportunities as well. Tickets include the pregame panel, upper terrace suite tickets, food, and Sox swag. WhiteSox.com/GameChangers is where you can find your tickets and information. Just saw Jose Contreras a couple of days ago in the lobby with his son and got a chance to chat for a little while. One of the nicest, most genial guys that you're going to run into.
And a very big fellow, by the way. You can understand why he pitched as long as he did.
Always well liked in a Sox jersey, Jose Contreras. Two and 0 on Kevin Smith, who singled in the second inning with 1 out. And this to right field as well is foul.
Fowler is way over into right center field. The gap is in straightaway and left center. Plus, if Kevin can pull the ball on an off-speed pitch, he can run all day down the line and left.
A's fans, Sox fans living in harmony as this one's punched to right field on a line for Piscotty. And that is 8 in a row, 86th by Minaya. The guy on the left's a little happier right now. The park is gone. Don't miss the movie event of the summer, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, in theaters now. That was ominous, huh?
Very.
Just happy the park is still here. I was told the park's gone because of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
No, this park is still here.
Oh, good.
Because we're here. And no beasts around. At least yet.
You never know in a doubleheader. As Lucroy takes ball one, he was the one that drove in the first run of this game on a sac fly that was out number 2 of the second inning. Downstairs, Chuck Garfien.
Some trivia for you guys. I'm going to put you on the spot here. I spoke to Roger Bostard about how much rain had fallen on this field over the last 2 days. Do you want to guess how many gallons of water fell on this field?
A million gallons.
Not a million.
I'll take the under.
It did rain, but not that much.
I bid $1.
You win, Jason Benetti.
Thank you. How many gallons, Chuck?
194,000 gallons fell on this field over the last couple days. The good news is that, well, obviously the field looks great, but only mist at the most is expected the rest of the day, this according to Roger Bostard.
That is great news. That is a lot of water that's fallen on this ballpark as Lucroy takes 4 straight. And no, we don't need the shower, Jim Angio. We don't need any more water.
Been plenty of water, no doubt about that.
Thanks, Jim.
you want to hear some more Roger Bossert trivia?
Sure.
Please.
Once upon a time, when he was in high school, he played baseball at Thornridge High School, and there was an amazing, an incredible pitcher down the road from St. Rita who he would face in high school by the name of Ed Farmer.
Ed went to St. Rita?
Well, I thought you were going to
I'd
give me
never heard
trivia.
that.
I thought you were going to ask us who the pitcher was, but then you gave it away with the Ed Farmer.
I'm providing it, yes. The answer to.
Asked and answered, Counselor.
Well, you did so well on the gallons of water, so Chuck figured that he'd give you one.
I didn't want to stump you twice.
How about that?
He said that Ed would throw about 92, 93 at the age of 17 years old. He would often strike out 8 guys in 3 innings, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
That he had, yeah.
Farmio.
He made it as a very young man, and the Cleveland Indians were very happy. So was Ed Farmer, by the way.
Yes, he was. A great storyteller, Ed Farmer. That ball's hit well down the left field line and foul. Barreto needs to go away. He's got 3 of his 4 career homers against the Sox, including this one.
Second home run of the year. Exit velocity 105.4. That's good. A towering fly ball, 41 degrees launch angle, and he's doubled his runs batted in.
Well, he had the homer against Shields last year for the first one, and then in Oakland, he hit that game winner off of Tommy Kahnle in the 9th inning. So they have been big home runs against the Sox for Barreto.
He's right up there among their top prospects. And now getting playing time in the major leagues. We liked him last year. He looked pretty good, and nothing he's done today has diminished that.
Left field, Garcia back at the warning track, and he is underneath for round number 1. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game for as low as $49. The family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas. Upper level and lower level packages are available. You can check out every available date at whitesox.com/4packs today. Sox fans staying home from work, enjoying game number 1. Game 2 follows 30 to 40 minutes after the final out of this one. Now Fowler, who finds a gap in the shift. Lucroy going for third, and he is safe.
It was a pretty good throw, but Lucroy wanted to make sure that he tested the arm of Leary Garcia. The arm is usually very good.
Oh, Yolmer was showing the tag.
Here's the thing. Yolmer thought he had him, so he showed that he had the ball. Had he just kept the glove on him, he would have been out as both hands come off the bag, and he would have been dead to rights had that happened. But Yolmer was showing Sam Holbrook that he did have the baseball and lost out on a key out.
On the initial slide, he slid next to the bag rather than making contact to the bag originally. And so that's what Yolmer, it looked like, thought he had. But in this era of instant replay, and there's been some discussion, some people have said that that out should be taken away. The replay driven out where you hold the tag on a runner, that's not in the spirit of replay. I don't know that I agree, but some people have argued that.
No, any way you get him out, you get him out.
You're a pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just call him out normally.
No matter what.
Yeah, regardless of whether you tags him or not. Meantime, Fowler will try to steal a bag. However, James has one of the best moves in baseball to first base. So if Fowler gets a little careless or is so intent on stealing he forgets about the move, you can pick him off first, and he's got a big lead at first base.
Shields looks at him. There he goes. On 1-0, that looked like it was going to be a free base for him.
He got such a great jump, and I'm kind of surprised that unless this was a called hit and run, and you wouldn't think so, I think Marcus unhappy with himself because It's really difficult to watch a jump and watch the pitch, but he realized when he saw where Fowler was, that's something, worst case scenario, you let go, it's 1-1, but you got a man at second base to go with the man at third.
No go this time, and the pitch is away. 2-1 on Semien. Former Cal Bear, former White Sox player Marcus Semien.
That is not his best move. He's keeping that in reserve for the moment.
Two and one. Fowler at first, Lucroy at third, and another check on Fowler, who's a flight risk. He's 23 years old, the center fielder Dustin Fowler. Lucroy 9 years his elder over at third. Grounded foul, 2-2. Semien this year, runners in scoring position, a .375 batting average. That's fourth best in the American League.
It's pretty impressive for a guy that had some defensive problems, but lately he's been fielding a bit better.
Inside, 3-2. Jed Lowry, who's 0 for 2, but really hurt the Sox back in Oakland, stands on deck. Fowler runs, pitch is fouled away.
That one just top of the strike zone. Could have gone either way on the call, but too close to take. So that set of signs from Kevin Smith wanting to tell the infield where he's going to go if in fact Fowler does try to steal a bag. Pitch number 81 on the way.
Fowler runs, pitch in the air to right field. Fowler retreating, and Abreu in foul territory makes the play for round number 2.
Jose is usually exceptional on pop-ups. This was not an easy one as the wind was blowing this ball away from him. He uses the basket catch, and that's an even more difficult play. And then realizing that you got Lucroy at third base, he quickly turns around, check and see that he stays right there.
Which he did, and so it's up to Lowry.
This will be interesting to see if Bob Melvin allows Fowler to try to steal a bag. My feeling is that he won't. The reason is, if Fowler stays right there, you keep the hole open on the right side. And Lowry is a dead pull hitter from the left side.
Yeah, that is a huge gap between the second base bag and Moncada. And Kevin Smith wants to go out and talk to Shields, who at most this year has thrown 111 pitches. That was back on April the 20th. Last 2 starts, he's gone over 100. Don Cooper taking it all in, hoping to save his bullpen. as much as he can for game number 2 and know what he's got in terms of a full slate for the second game. Five batters that in this inning, and Shields has thrown ball 1 to 4 of them.
Jed Lowry, in a situation like he's facing now, has been outstanding this year.
Hard hit and through.
There's a perfect example of why you don't allow the runner to steal. And Bob Melvin, one of those really good managers, understood that and pays dividends with a base hit and a run batted in the 48th for Lowry. This one right by Moncada. And it brings Don Cooper out from the dugout to talk with James Shields and the infield.
Two on, two out, and we remind you to join the White Sox June 26th for Chosen Few DJs House Music Night. Enjoy house music throughout the ballpark while the Sox take on the Twins, and after the game, Chosen Few DJs will head across 35th Street for an after party at Shy Sox Bar and Grill. Visit whitesox.com/house for tickets and additional information. The young Top Gun extra.
Bright day today.
Oh yeah, gotta have the shades.
Oh, absolutely. That's in preparation for the sun to come out on Monday.
There's a strike on Chris Davis. Monday's the off day. Can we get it a little sooner? Say Sunday, Saturday?
Actually, the next couple of days are supposed to be absolutely perfect. Summer resort weather, if you will.
And
or if
we
you
will.
won't. Yeah.
No, we always will. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike on Davis, who has the most home runs in baseball since 2016, 105 of them.
Get some big power.
Well, Jim Wolf, for the most part, has not given extensions of the strike zone, which is to say he's had a very nice day behind the plate in terms of accuracy. There's some calls James would have wanted, but did not look like they were strikes according to our pitch cast. Two and one. Check swing. No go, 3 balls and a strike. So the Oakland Athletics, if you feel like they've taken a lot of pitches, probably because they have. They are 4th in baseball in pitches seen per trip to the plate this year.
Oakland is one of those teams that's usually on that list because they value on base percentage. They have as an organization for a long time now. And they will work counts, making it more difficult for the starting pitcher to go deep in the game. And Chris Davis likes what he sees of James Shields at 4 for 10. He was with Milwaukee. And with Milwaukee, most home runs he ever hit in a year was 27. But in Oakland, 42 and 43 home runs in back-to-back seasons.
Lowry runs. That ball is ripped to left field and past Garcia. Fowler scores. Lowry follows, and it's 7-0 Oakland.
Lurie was pretty much caught in between. He's shaking his head. He realizes that this is a mistake as that ball up in the eyes of Davis, who is a prolific run producer, always has been. He gets on top of that high pitch, and Lurie sees it go by. So we shall see how it's scored.
Two runs in, no matter what the final ruling is. And Olson, the batter. 0-1. There's that breaking ball at 69, 0-2. They will score a 2-run double for Davis.
That gives him 51 driven in.
Another breaking ball. Moncada knocks it down, recovers, safe.
Well, we'll see how this one is scored. Looks like a base hit. On to his left. And cannot get it there in time. Call by John Libka. And that went in the middle of his glove, but got away.
Jose very alertly took a look at Davis.
That's E4. Second of the day for Moncada.
So with that, there has been a scoring change in the ball from Davis. It's now a single E7.
I assume then one driven in.
I would assume so.
So that's 50 runs batted in for Davis.
One ball, one strike. Talk about extra pitches today for Shields because of defense.
Yep, as Juan Minaya starts loosening in the pen.
Will this be the first game where both pitchers in at a given time will be named Minaya?
If it's not the first, it's right up there. Spelled differently, but sounds the same.
Two balls and a strike on Canna. There's a strike at the corner, 2-2. '29-year-old Mark Canna, who's walked, scored, and struck out in the game.
Mark Canna, another Cal Bear. They get a few of them.
He and Simeon overlap there. They got Stanford's finest, Jed Lowry. It's a Pac-12 wrecking crew. Two balls, two strikes. Check swing, ball gets away. Run comes home with Davis. Olson to second base, Canna into first.
And here comes Ricky Renteria. This ball in the dirt bounds away from Kevin Smith. And another run scores, so James's day is done. Done in by his defense today, and as he walks off, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Sports. Nominate someone you know now at NBCSports.com/fairplay. Time now for the Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And it is Juan Minaya. He comes in relief of James Shields. On for the 10th time. Record of 0-1, ERA a touch over 5. 13 strikeouts and 8 2/3. That's good. The 11 walks is not.
He'll face the 9th batter of the inning, Stephen Piscotty. Grab some popcorn. We got a bunch of baseball ahead. End of this game plus game number 2. That third person just reached in for popcorn. Don't even know if he's part of the group.
As long as the popcorn's around, you might as well grab it.
What are the rules on that at a baseball game? So you're sitting in the same section and you just reach in.
You can
Is that
share.
okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure you'd feel the same if it was your popcorn that they were reaching into. You'd say, oh yes.
Yeah, no problem.
This is great.
Sure. Get my clippers out.
The phrase grubby little hands comes to mind. Ball and a strike on Piscotty. Who nearly got hit. You may have seen Stephen Piscotty lost his mother Gretchen a couple of weeks ago after a long bout with ALS, and a beautiful moment when he came back, hitting a home run in his first game back to Oakland. Looked up to the sky, and one of those truly remarkable moments in baseball in 2018. Moncada with the call and the ball for out number 3. Oakland, though, doubles its lead. Layla has an update for you after this. Hey, thank you, Layla. Appreciate it. No pings here. Oregon State, by the way, leading Mississippi State in that game. Layla was talking about 7-2 in the 6th. So maybe, just maybe, Jace Fry, who said the other day that he felt like Oregon State was the favorites, even after losing a game, maybe he's onto something.
They're a good team, certainly that. Then who do they play, assuming they win? They go head-to-head with Florida, or is that yet to be determined?
Don't know. We can find that out for you. Florida beat Texas Tech last night. As this ball is sent to center field by Garcia, and his second hit in 2 at-bats since coming back from the DL.
2 of the 3 hits off the bat of Leury Garcia. There is the second of his 2.
Yohan Moncada now, who lined out to center his first time up. Takes a strike. Moncada now 5 for 15 against Oakland this year, and he's hit the ball very hard, including a grand slam back at the Oakland Coliseum. Here's a look at where Moncada has done his damage against Oakland so far this year. Don't throw it down the middle.
The other spots, well, that's from the catcher's perspective.
Yeah, so that would be low and in when he's batting right-handed, the 1,000.
Yeah.
And low and away when he's batting left-handed. But it was a pitch that was low and in when he was batting right-handed.
There you go.
There you have it. Some of those are 0 for 0.
Yeah.
1-2 on Moncada. It's outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oakland trying to win its 5th consecutive game. Fouled away right-hand side.
Minaya has kept it to a minimum of pitches so far, just 63 of them, with nobody out here in the 5th.
To shortstop, Semien can't handle it.
Probably going to be error number 14, although it was hit hard, it was hit right at him, and it is E6. Could have been 2, but Fowler has to field it in center field, so promising inning so far.
Could have been 2, instead it's 0, and this has not exactly been a defensive Monet today.
No. No clinics coming out of this game to this point.
2 on, nobody out. Sanchez. Yolmer was talking the other day about why he decided to switch hit, and right hand actually was his dominant hand initially, and he said one of the guys that was thinking about signing him or trying to help him get signed when he was younger basically said, you're a little guy, so you need to do everything you can to try and draw the attention of scouts, and so he decided to switch hit.
Not a bad idea when you can see every breaking ball coming into you instead of going away from you. And of course, the difficulty comes keeping a groove stroke from both sides of the plate, because more times than not, your natural side will have one stroke and the other side, which is usually your stronger side, will have another stroke.
He'd mentioned that as well, that he's tried in the past to replicate his batting stance from each side, and he just does not feel comfortable being as upright one way or the other.
Yeah, there's no doubt that you're going to have 2 different strokes. I mean, that's the difficulty with being a switch hitter, is getting as many reps from both sides of the plate while you're practicing and trying to figure out what kind of hitter you're going to be from either side of the plate.
1-2. First base side. Olson in foul territory. Let's quiz Steve on his own career. It's sticks and stone. Your only save came against Oakland in 1973. Who'd you strike out to end it?
Well, I struck out both Rudy and Tennis because I could never strike out Reggie Jackson, so you can take him out of the equation. I'm trying to think which one it was. I'll say, geez, would Rudy hit before Tennis? Okay, I'll say Gene Tennis to end it. It was one of those two. It was either A or C. I'll take I'll take tennis.
I like how invested you were in that question.
Well, I had only one save. It's easy to remember.
We'll see how easy.
No, I mean easy to remember that I threw 7 pitches, all curveballs.
Is that right? All curveballs?
Yeah, 7 pitches, all curveballs.
Why did you come in to close it?
Because there was nobody left.
Really?
Yeah, when I saw Chuck Tanner going to the mound and realized I was the only one warming up in the bullpen, I thought this is not going to end well for me, because apparently I am the lone hope. And because I had never had a save before, I thought that, this we'll see what happens here. So actually it worked out pretty well.
How much different did it feel closing out the game?
Well, I knew that this was never going to happen again, so I should enjoy it.
Manaya has strikeout number 7, and here is your answer to Sticks and Stone this afternoon in game number 1. As part of the lost decade of the 70s, it was Gene Tennis.
There you go, by process of elimination. That was it. I figured Rudy was a better hitter than Gene Tennis, so he would have to be hitting in front. That's why I picked Tennis. That's the rational thought, and Reggie Jackson was never even a consideration, because he just murdered me.
Why, though?
I don't know. One of those things.
Did he hit your curveball well, or was it everything he hit well?
He hit everything well.
Even that really good curveball?
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Huh.
I always thought that my catchers were telling him what was coming, but that probably wasn't the case.
It's very nice. Spill some blame out on somebody else. 2 strikes on Anderson. Manaya gave up a single, then Moncada reached on the error. And here we stand, 2 on, 2 out, 5th inning. Right field side and twisting foul. Well, this has been the way Tim has swung the bat best in his career against left-handed pitching, and this season is once again his strong side is from the right-hand side against the left-handed pitching rather than righty versus righty.
Tim's got to lay off that face-high fastball where you'd think Manaya would go here.
0-2. It was upstairs and actually very close to the zone, but Lucroy broke it down to pop up to catch it. See pitch number 4 on our Toyota pitch cast. It was in the neighborhood. So was that one, and Tim sprayed it foul. Doubleheader game 2 scheduled to start half an hour after the end of this game, with Lucas Giolito and Chris Bassett on the mound.
I remember Chris Bassett. He was formerly a member of the White Sox. Nice job of staying alive on a good straight change. So Manaya hasn't thrown a lot of them, but when he has, they've been effective.
One and 2. Another foul ball from Anderson. So for Sean Manaya, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits, all singles, and trying to figure out a way to take care of Tim here. Lined hard and foul, third base side.
That was a slider that he got up, and Tim hit it hard. As you look at some very impressive numbers, no walks, just 3 singles, and an out shy of being an official game.
Garcia at second, Moncada at first. And this is tipped foul again by Anderson.
Quite an at bat for Tim Anderson.
I was going to say, if you just joined us, you hear the name Garcia at second base. Leori Garcia, Avi Garcia, both activated today. Jose Rondon sent back to AAA Charlotte. Trace Thompson designated for assignment, so the Sox 40-man roster now has 38 on it.
There's some room.
There is room.
You never know what happens.
It's true.
You think you know, but you don't know.
1-2. In the air, center field. Fowler started in, now retreats and makes the catch. 6th inning coming up. Oakland blanking the Sox. The MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. A little gloomy, but you still can tailgate.
Well, you can always tailgate. Gloom or no gloom.
First pitch is a strike to Jonathan Lucroy.
Sure, Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper would like to see Monaya pick up as many innings as he felt comfortable.
We have a trumpet fanfare problem in the
Yeah,
ballpark.
that's something they don't want to do very often, is use some music before pitches.
Makes the pitch seem very important, though.
Very
I
dramatic.
think the king is about to pop out and give a speech from the top of the hill. Oh, 2. Fouled off to the right side. So we have Juan Minaya and Sean Minaya both pitching at the same time. Well, they're not pitching at the same time, but they're pitchers in the game at the same time.
Spelled differently.
Yes.
First names also.
It's fouled off of Lucroy's shoe, and you all can ruminate on Steve's last comment.
Jonathan fouled that off his foot and was none too happy about it.
There is the other Minaya, Sean Minaya.
He's whipping up a whale of a ball game here today, trying to go over 500 for the year. And a whole lot of family in attendance, and they're very happy with what's happened to this point, and his offense has supported it.
0-2. Line to short. take a trip around Major League Baseball, why don't we? As the Sox and A's are here in the sixth. Marcell Ozuna tracking this Aguilar fly ball to left field. He jumps!
Yeah, he lost track of that one, you'd say.
Yeah.
One thing to hang on a wall, it's another thing to see the ball hit the bottom of the wall while you're hanging on top of it.
Just kind of dangling there as the ball lands where you were. I mean, look, he was trying to be a hero, trying to help out his pitcher.
Yeah.
No harm in that.
No, that was max effort.
Until the ball goes ringing off the wall. Yeah. What do you say as a pitcher? Do you say thank you for trying? What's your response?
Maybe think about staying on flat ground next time.
How do you think that's received by your outfielder?
Well, he's going to say, look, he gave you to the best of his ability where he thought the ball was going to go, but then it was swatted down with a heavy wind.
In the dome of Miller Park. Well, Milwaukee right now. By the way, you talk about a cleanup issue. You got one to your right eating, one to your left eating, and only one napkin to go around.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Or you just eat both of the kids' ice cream. Here, let me try that. Let me try this. Dabbling. That is yet another one of those things that you do at the ballpark with no conscious thought that anybody else is watching. And
No.
our great camera crew finds you.
And the kids think it's delightful because they didn't pay for the ice cream anyway, so you can give up a little here and there.
Not that they had a choice. In the air, right center field. Engel captures out number 2. There's a happy little one. Just glad to be at the ballpark and taking in the game.
With the White Sox gear on, very nice.
You ever just want to be a kid again at a baseball game? Not know anything that you know now?
I think I'd sign up to be a kid again anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was a lot of fun.
What was your favorite ballpark food?
Need you ask? Hot dogs, of course.
Well, I don't know.
Well, I talk about hot dogs every day. The Vienna beef out there. Every time we look at the bullpen.
I thought you just got a cut.
No, not yet.
What
Now-
about giant ice cream helmet?
That would be a good thing.
See, that's meant to share.
Nah, I wasn't good at that.
Sharing?
Yeah.
That surprises me. Did that sound sincere?
No.
Good. One ball and 2 strikes on Dustin Fowler, who came over from the Yankees. And there's strike 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Go to your freezer, grab some ice cream.
And bring the fun home. Now the spelling of Benaya. Always a problem.
Fat kid.
There he is.
Avi Garcia first in the 6th against Benaya, who they refer to as the baby giraffe. He was evidently a little clunkier than he is now as a kid.
6'5" he is now. He grew to that 6'5", 230 or so.
There are a number of giraffes in the Bay Area, though, with Brandon Belt being the baby giraffe 2 across the bay. So there is a giraffe infestation in the area. Ball and 2 strikes on Avi. How long do you think it takes for him to really find his stroke?
He's going to get some good swings with the next few days, but as far as feeling comfortable with no spring training and going out there in a major league game, it's going to take a while.
To shortstop, Semien gets to his feet, and Avi beats it out as he's prone to do. It's an infield single for Garcia.
Doesn't really matter how Marcus made this play. He wasn't going to get Avi, who hustles down the line each and every time, and he's sniffing a base hit here. If you're going to slide into the throw, then you have to get rid of it as soon as you get up on the pop-up slide. But Avi, 100% now from any hamstring or knee issues, because he got down there in a hurry.
And you could tell Avi was really excited, pumped up after he made it safely, because that's exactly the kind of play, it was the play where he hurt his hamstring initially. Running down the line, he pulled the hamstring, kept him out 2 months, plus the knee injury that followed.
Yeah, if you wanted to know no restrictions and no lingering effects, that's the play that shows it to you. Ball 1 on Abreu, who grounded out to shortstop last time, part of an 0 for 2.
That was in the booth right next door that Gene Honda inhabits.
Did Dan Milkey just get drilled again?
I don't think so. He was there, but I think that ball went over the camera.
Chris Quintana's got it. He said he didn't catch it, though.
No, he did not catch it.
Take a bow, Q. He was very honest about that.
And justifiably so.
Semien at shortstop. Nice pick. Good range from Semien. It's time to party at the park this season. From a pregame patio to the fan deck, White Sox party areas are perfect for hosting groups of 10 to 1,000. How you get here with 1,000, I don't know. But for more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
And we'll make accommodations with George Jacobs to rent you a very large bus for your 1,000-people party.
I like the idea of gathering up 1,000 of your friends coming to a ball game.
Or 2 of your friends and 998 other people.
Bring your enemies to the park day. I like that. Ball 1 to Davidson. Oakland with 4 in the 2nd and 4 in the 5th. Those are your runs. Oakland winners of 4 straight coming in, 2 games over 500. Davidson cracks this ball to center field. Fowler racing back at the warning track. It's off the wall. Abreu's on his way to third. Davidson has a double, and the Sox have second and third with 1 down.
A little livelier at the ballpark, and that's a home run. But today, because of the mist and the cool temperatures, this ball stays in. But Matt hit it awfully hard to right center field. Jose Abreu could not take off. He doesn't know if Fowler's going to catch his ball or not. When it became clear he wasn't, Jose able to scamper into third base.
Second and third, one down. Kevin Smith trying to break the Mania shutout. There's strike one. Kevin's hit the ball to the right side twice, once for a hit, once for a line out.
With that in mind, Olson is well off the line at first base.
Oh, and 2. So when you look at where Kevin's hit the ball so far in the majors this year, one thing stands out.
Bunch him in right.
You don't see the opposite field shift terribly often, especially on the infield, but that might be part of the calculus in the future.
He continues like this, but it depends on what you throw him. I mean, you throw him something off speed, he can hit it the left or left center field. But normally the fastball, even the inside fastball, he'll take the other way.
Oh, 2. Mania's thrown fewer than 10 sliders. He's been mostly fastball changeup. As let's see, they do go to first. Sox get a run, throw to third on Davidson. He is out. Abreu scores. It is a double play to close out the 6th.
Nice play by Olson, and Joe McEwing wants to take another look at it. It looked like they might have gotten him, but we'll have to wait and see.
I think Joe said he is
Yeah,
out.
I think we'll play on. And heads up play by Olson at first, and they put the tag on and out of the inning.
Sox do get a run, and that's all.
Right here on NBC Sports Chicago, or stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
Scheduled start time 7:10. It's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes after the final out of this game, so we'll see when that ends up being. And don't forget, over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you can see the Charlotte Knights, the new home of Eloy Jimenez, Seby Zavala, Ian Hamilton. They'll play live on NBC Sports Chicago at 6 o'clock Saturday and then 7 o'clock Sunday on tape delay. So you can see quite a bit of Eloy Jimenez, who had his first AAA hit last night after a lengthy rain delay. He shows up in AAA. Tarp gets rolled out. They start 2 hours after the originally scheduled start time.
It didn't daunt his AAA debut.
He's not easily daunted.
Now, I believe he's going to hit wherever he goes.
Nice catch by Kevin for strike 3. Manaya, good placement for out number 1. Elsewhere in the minors last night, Luis Robert had his first Winston-Salem hit. He led off the game, had a base hit, stole a base, and drove in a run as well.
For a big man, he's going to be able to steal a lot of bases. And hopefully he swings the bat the way he can, because everything else is there.
Manaya got inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Lowry.
Number 1 story for you in the American League this year.
Number 1 story.
Yep.
In the American League. Are we talking team or player?
Just a story.
A
story. A storyline, whether
okay.
it's team or player.
For me,
yep.
I think it's the Mariners playing as well as they have with the Robinson Cano suspension and everything they've dealt with. I would say as a team, the Mariners are the number 1 story for me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they certainly are, and they've had a wonderful go of it.
You can't say Ohtani.
I think the number 1 story would have been him, except now he's injured, so the story probably is not expanded this year, although they keep saying there's a chance for him to come back in this one. You see the Mariners, they're 3 games back in the loss column, 3.5 overall. The Astros, you would think, with that rotation, which is Sterling, and maybe, just maybe, an addition as a trade deadline goes along, not as a starting pitcher though, maybe some bullpen help. You would think they would pull away.
You'd think.
You would think.
They haven't yet somehow.
No, they have not.
Then what's your number 1 story with Ohtani on the shelf in the AL?
Right now, I think it's the Yankees, and everybody thought they'd be good. They didn't know how Stanton fit into it, but that's some team.
Angle in center for the second out of the 7th inning. Who's the team that you thought was going to be better than they are right now? A little disappointing.
A little disappointing in all of baseball, or just the American League?
I'd say the American League right now, but if you've got a National League team that's really creeping up into your mind.
Well, it was really easy early in the season to say the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But now you find the Dodgers 2.5 games in back of Arizona. So they're starting to get a little bit better. Arizona's playing good baseball, but the Dodgers right there knocking at the door. And, you know, Dave Roberts said it when everybody was talking about the Dodgers, the fact that they could be out of it. He said, when it's over, we're going to be right there. And he said, we're going to win the division. Could very well be. The Diamondbacks have something to say about that. And don't sleep on the San Francisco Giants, because Bumgarner's back again, and they're starting to play pretty decent baseball.
That ball had eyes. A single for Davis. They don't have a closer right now because Hunter Strickland decided to go 3 rounds with a door.
Losing in the first round, however.
TKO.
But there you see the standings, and the Rockies, even though they're under 500, they still have a good enough team. You wonder if they're going to have their pitching hold up, which is always the case with the Rockies. But Diamondbacks playing good, solid baseball, and the Dodgers, to me, they have enough talent by far to get there.
Well, Manaya has cleared out the boardroom. They're going to have a meeting on the mound.
And the pen up and going, and the meeting was probably called from the dugout to let Avilan get loosened up.
Hydrate a little bit.
Yeah, loosen up his lips.
There's nothing more compelling than bullpen water drinking. Chuck Garfien
I was listening to your conversation. The one team that I think has a lot still to prove, actually they don't even need to prove anything, is the Houston Astros. Although Alex Bregman says they still haven't played their best baseball, which is shocking considering they have the lowest ERA and most runs scored offensively in baseball. But that's a team that, who's going to knock them out? I know the Indians have a great pitching staff, but Astros, that's a team that I don't know if anyone can beat them.
Yeah, somebody's got to beat them. We'll see who it is. They have the second best record in the AL right now. Avilan in, Minaya out. We'll get back to that after this.
And he comes into this one, thrown it very well. On for the 33rd time. Very good ERA of an even 3, a 2-0 record, 24 strikeouts in 21 innings. He's part of a very good left-handed pen for the Sox.
Fry, Cedeno, Avilan, Santiago, your 4 lefties. This is game number 1 of our doubleheader. Game 2 will follow 30 to 40 minutes after this first game, so it's not necessarily a 7-10 first pitch. So if you're watching this game and you have tickets for game number 2 and you're thinking, hey, should I get to the ballpark right at 7:10? Get here a little bit early just in case.
Yep. You never know how long this one lasts, but we shall see. Okay, so to finish up on Houston, look, they're number 1 in offense, number 1 in pitching, number 1 in defense. Okay, so they're very good.
Yeah.
However, you run into the Indians and you get Kluber in the first game. You get maybe Bauer in the second game and either Clevenger or Carrasco in the third game. You've got your hands full. They can beat anybody in the world in a short series, and that's what the playoffs are. They're a short series. Now, by the time they get to Houston, you would think that it would be 4 of 7. However, 3 of those guys, and possibly the 4th, they can go pitch for pitch in their starting rotation, but not their pen with Houston.
How great would those pitching matchups be in a Cleveland-Houston series in the ALCS?
It would be wonderful, but you know, you got those 2 teams in the East with Boston and New York probably having a huge say-so into what happens, and those guys can also take you out. Their pitching is pretty good. Their pens are exceptional, by the way, especially the back end of both of them.
And they could play wall ball with the best of them.
Yeah, they can take it out for sure.
Here's a great quote from Bregman. Alex Bregman told the Yahoo Sports podcast, "There should be an X on our back. We're the team to beat. We're the best team in the big leagues. 10 wins in a row, 20 wins in a row. Everyone's saying that we're playing well. Well, we'll let everyone know when we're playing well. We're playing all right now. We'll let people know when we're playing well." Kind of confident, wouldn't you say?
Oh my God.
I would say that's the way you have to be.
You like that?
I do. However, I think they are playing well. Can they play better? Well, I guess they can, but 1 in every category. Number 1, it's hard to get too much better.
Garcia in left. Into out number 3. Davis stranded. Stretch time. special documentary on the state of youth sports in America titled Fair Play. Before they were major leaguers with the Sox, players like this young man were simply being kids playing sports. Do you know who this future Sox player is wearing that Frank Thomas jersey or shirt or jersey? Do you own any jerseys?
Not yet, but I'm looking for a pirate for my next party.
Oh, Nicky Delmonico has a great joke about pirates. You want to hear it?
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell you anyway. It's the 7th and it's 8-1.
Yeah,
so
I heard this one, but go ahead.
Okay. What is a pirate's favorite letter?
No, I can't give it away.
You would think it's R, but it's actually the C. Barreto for round number 1. Stop the cackling for a moment. Hey, Sox fans, you win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com. When you use promo code SOXWIN, valid at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. The young lady on the left there had kind of the Bobby Valentine look going on with the fake mustache.
Didn't work well for him either.
Nor Ichiro, as you will see in our second game.
There it is.
It's an evil mustache stroke going on. Plans to take over the world. 1-1 on Moncada, who's 0 for 2 after reaching on an error in the 5th.
One seems to be swinging a little better from the right side. There was some struggles right-handed because he wasn't getting quite as many at bats, but today he swung it pretty well. Hit the ball hard twice.
Right field, Piscotty. So we showed you the picture of the young Sox player.
Looks like Yomer Sanchez.
You think so?
Yeah.
It is. The documentary Fair Play Youth Sports in America takes an inside look at the multifaceted world of organized sports. It premieres Friday, June 29th at 7:30 p.m. right here on NBC Sports Chicago.
As you know, Yomer and Carlos are very, very tight.
It's true.
Yep, they are.
It's true. How about little Yolmer in a Sox jersey? Little did he know.
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, 35 shadowing, actually. Without the 3. 2 balls, no strikes. Sean Manaea at 105.
Oakland bullpen up and going.
I bet it's a righty, Steve.
Looks like Liam Hendricks from here.
Simeon. For out number 3. The world may never know. 8-1 your score. out yesterday. And so, 2 games today. The second game 30 to 40 minutes after this one with Steve Stone, Jason Benetti, Chuck Garfine downstairs, and our entire crew here on NBC Sports Chicago. That is a good Raleigh Fingers-like mustache.
Very good. A little lighter than Raleigh's was, but.
Third base side, fair ball, Yolmer. The length of the diamond, and it's not caught.
Jose has a tendency to back up on the other side of the line, and when that happens, occasionally the runner and the ball get in the same spot at the same time. So your guess is as good as mine why that happens. It just seems to. And this one, it's going to be ruled a base hit. Yikes.
Canna and Abreu talking it over. Yolmer Sanchez got it there, but no out. And Piscotty the batter. High in the sky, third base side. Yolmer will have no throw to make this time. It's out number 1 as we open up the Sox vault and see what's inside.
Ooh, sound effects also.
Creaky wheel.
Gotta like that.
Yes, indeed. It's Sammy Ellis, who played in just 10 games with the Sox back in 1969 to the tune of a 5.83 ERA. He was regaining his old zip, though, they thought. He was acquired from the Angels, joining the big 3 of Gary Peters, Tommy John, and Joe Horland, and that was the hope. But you never know how it's going to work out with a new team. And after pitching with Cincinnati for 5 seasons, he only spent 10 games with the Sox, pitcher out of Mississippi State, and that was it for his career. So many names through Sox history, some here for a long time, some for just a month or 2.
Sammy Ellis went on to be a pretty good pitching coach, so he understood how to pitch. But he was denied being in a great city for quite some time.
Ball goes popping in the air in the battle for it. Everyone screams mine.
Young man had a very easy play on 2 hops, just kind of was sitting there for him. He made the catch.
You got to make the easy ones, right?
It's true.
Canna at first, 1 out. Foul ground, first base side, and oh, that lands fair. My goodness, it stayed fair, and a base hit for Lucroy.
His first hit of the day, and it looked like that ball was going to be blown foul, but the wind that was a little brisk early in the game has died down somewhat. This one hugged the line the whole way. Lucroy with his first hit of the day.
Now Barreto. Hard hit foul. Canna at second, Lucroy at first. another foul ball.
Let's take a look at high-speed action powered by Xfinity. And for Barreto, a duplicate of another appearance against James Shields. 105.4 miles per hour in the exit velocity, a towering fly ball, 41 degrees launch angle. Second home run of the year. He doubled his RBI total with a 3-run homer in the second, and that helped propel the Oaklands to where they are now.
Just up 8-1, a 4-run second, a 4-run fifth. And the Athletics, who offensively are a very dangerous bunch, starting this 10-game road trip in style. Having won a couple from San Diego, they've got 4 here and then 4 in Detroit to close it out.
For Oakland, the travel is very difficult when you think about their division, because even the so-called short trip, which is the one to Seattle, is about an hour 45, hour 50 away, and then you have to go both to Houston and to Arlington, Texas, which is 3.5 to 4 hours. So they get a break with the Angels, and that's about it.
That ball is crushed to left field. Barreto has done it again against the Sox on one hop to the concourse.
Well, he came in with 3 driven in, and he's got 6 today on his 2 home runs. So Franklin Barreto, one of their most valuable prospects, they're coming over in a trade from Toronto, has shown he's got some power. Ford home run replay, he just reaches down and takes it way back. This one is crushed.
.3 miles per hour off the bat. Launch angle lower this time at 27 degrees. This is from a guy who was 3 for 33 against left-handed pitching in AAA this year. He already has 4 hits in the majors against left-handed pitching as Yolmer collects out number 2. This is one of those instances where maybe you try to convince the A's to trade him to you. He's going to have 4 of his 5 career homers against the Sox. That's going to do it for Luis Avilan. He goes 1 full inning, gives up 3 hits and 3 earned runs. Oakland in a big way in game 1.
Really struggling recently, Bruce Rondon. His ERA has swollen to 6.75. Record 2-3. He comes on with the bases clear. And 2 outs here in the top of the 8th, and another 3 spot on the board for the Oaklands.
Marcus Semien takes ball 1. So Avilan, 1 inning, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, no strikeouts. And Rondon, the 3rd reliever used in this game. And you'd imagine Ricky Renteria wants 4 outs out of him. And this is one of them. Engel. That'll do it. Bottom 8 coming your way after this. All in one place, evidently, as it's 11-1 Oakland. With the lead into the bullpen go the Athletics.
Liam Hendricks comes into this one. On for the 12th time. ERA at even 5. 7 walks in 9 innings. That's not good. But Sean Manaea was very good today. Giving up just 1 run. 5 hits. He did not walk anybody. And it was just an outstanding effort.
Well, if this does eventually become a win for Oakland, which it seems like it's heading that direction, Bob Melvin will be just 3,006 wins away from Connie Mack for the all-time franchise wins lead for managers.
Yes, but he's moving up with every win.
It's a ridiculous leaderboard.
I know if he manages slow, let's say another, I don't know, 75, 80 years, he's got a shot.
35-82, the win total for Connie Mack. Into center field, a base hit for Adam.
Connie Mack did most, if not all of that, in a suit.
I was going to say, you miss the days when managers wore coat and tie.
It would be really interesting to go out and argue with the umpire in a coat and tie.
I like that. There's
Well,
something very nice about that.
Yes.
A very genteel man, Connie Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how genteel it would be in Arlington, Texas in July in a coat and tie.
Well, look, with global warming and everything, it's gotten hotter.
Climate change,
when-
Manfred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotten hotter than when Connie Mack was
Yeah.
roaming the dugouts.
Right, there was no humidity then.
There were a couple times they won titles and then he got rid of all of his players, sold some guys off, and then did it again.
It's a good plan.
He was like the Marlins before the Marlins.
They did it twice.
They did.
I mean, it was pretty interesting the way that team was built, developed, torn apart, and then redeveloped.
ball and a strike on Anderson against Liam Hendricks, whose father was an Australian rules football player. When Liam was a kid, as the story goes, he evidently had the choice between cricket and t-ball between Australian rules football seasons. And because one, as that's called, a strike on the check swing, Lipka brings him up. Cricket took about 6 hours to play. T-ball was like an hour or so, and the parents said, you're playing T-ball. So Liam Hendricks wouldn't even be here if not for pace of play.
Pace of play is very important, yes.
3-2 on Tim. Lucas Giolito and Chris Bassett, your starting pitchers for game number 2, which is scheduled for half an hour to 40 minutes after game number 1. We will be here for that, our entire crew. We can't promise anything score-wise, but we're optimistic. On the ground and clipping off the glove of Lowry.
So Tim with his first hit.
Right fielder, number 26, Garcia.
2 on, nobody out, Avi Garcia. Avi's been out since April the 23rd, so almost exactly 2 months.
He beat out an infield hit last time up, his first hit of the day.
Do you have any dinner plans for between games?
Well, depends on if we have, what, an hour, hour and a half between games?
No, it's going to be 30 to. I just said that.
I know.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, I've been listening, believe me.
Two
No,
balls and a
actually,
strike.
none yet, no.
You don't?
I figure I would take advantage of Roy Rivas and his fine cuisine.
Thought you might wander down to the craft cave and sign some autographs and grab yourself a burger.
Don't have enough time.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
I would.
30 to 40 minutes. You hustle down there. They got some good burgers.
They have great burgers.
So make it happen.
Well, that presupposes we're not going to do an opening for game 2.
We'll tape it right away. Right after game 1. The magic of TV.
Ooh, that one got a good piece of Lucroy. But he's able to shake it off.
Toughest position to play in sports is what?
Well, physically, you're probably looking at it. A
You think catcher?
Yeah. You really take a beating.
Hockey goalie?
Hockey goalie's a tough one. It is. But I'm not thinking you get hit as much as a catcher gets hit. Although it's, I mean,
You have more
it's difficult.
anticipation time, that's for sure. But your job is to get hit.
Well, it's actually to stop pucks and catch them, not get hit. The object is not to get hit.
Well, for your glove to get hit or your blocker to get hit or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
There's contact between projectile and you.
Yeah. Not quite as much, though, I don't believe.
Okay. Quarterback is not easy. You get hit on
No.
basically every throw.
That is not easy at all.
Do they get hit?
They get
Is it
hit.
okay to-
They get hit a lot.
Okay. On the ground and foul of third. 3-2 to Garcia. Anderson at first, Engel at second. Struck him out, 1 down. For this game 1, the A's don't have a lefty in the bullpen. For game 2, you get to add a player for the doubleheader. You get to have a 26th man on the roster, and there's some reports that Daniel Coulomb is here, and he is a left-hander that would be added in the bullpen. So for game 1, no lefties. Game 2, there may be one. Jose takes a strike.
I thought you were going to suggest, as you normally do, ideas that go away from the norm. For instance, having Daniel Coulomb act as a 26th man for both teams to save you some, some travel money.
Kind of like all-time quarterback in the backyard.
And go back and forth between the two teams, depending on who needs them.
I think he might throw more strikes for one team, considering they're signing his paycheck. I don't like that idea. You're too much of a visionary. That's a 9 on the no scale. There is both a quarterback and a catcher. Kevin Smith played some tough positions in his career.
He has that.
Jeez. Hendricks had something in his eye for the moment, which seems to be small potatoes for Kevin Smith and some of the contact he's taken. Former Pitt Panther quarterback decided to focus on baseball his final couple of years at Pittsburgh. 0-2. He struck him out.
Designated hitter, number 24, Matt Davidson.
Davidson will bat. He is 1 for 3 with a double and 2 strikeouts. Cute foul. Matt Davidson's beard is one of the great mysteries of the 2018 season. He shows up one day, it's completely full. Some days it's half full. Some days it's not there at all. And it seems to have no rhyme or reason.
It's a production beard. When he's going well, he keeps the same look.
Off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Oakland has put up some rather large numbers this year against the Sox, with in the last 3 games 11, 12, and 10 runs. And in the opener, their season low against the Sox of 8 back in April.
We said they got some offense, and they certainly have that.
One and 2 in the dirt.
Oakland can hit the ball out of the ballpark. They just don't run a whole lot. 13 stolen bases this year coming into action today.
And they're not very good at it either.
No, 13 and 13. I can understand why Bob Melvin wouldn't want to run more.
Not your prototypical smooth criminals. They're the types that leave their IDs at the scene. In the air, right side. Olsen for out number 3. Sox get 2 on and can't score. We will play the 9th after this. Jed Lowry, Bruce Rondon, and strike one from Bruce, who got a fly out from Simeon to end the 8th. Sox and A's will play a second game right here on NBC Sports Chicago, 30 to 40 minutes after game 1 comes to an end. And speaking of what's coming up for the Sox during this homestand, it will be 4 with the A's, including this game, and then the off day Monday, and 3 with Minnesota. The team is in 3rd place, 1 game behind 2nd place Detroit. Twins have sent Miguel Sano down to A-ball.
That's probably as much of a wake-up call as it is for anything else, as he was really struggling and every aspect of the diamond.
He put on a good face. He said, this is an opportunity for me to make a change and for me to come back as a different guy, and I thank Paul Molitor for the opportunity. But the Florida State League is not Major League Baseball.
Sometimes it does wake you up. Sometimes the things that you were doing that are untenable here in the major leagues, you find out you've got to change when you go down. You go down with a positive attitude, you come back in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it's not a full-time demotion, and we saw Carson Fulmer last night for AAA Charlotte. He walked 1, struck out 11. It's a good sign.
Stuff has been there. Question is harnessing that stuff.
There's a swing and a miss, and Davis wrenches his back on strike 3.
First baseman, number 28, Manfred.
Swings over the top of that one, and he's the first out.
So for Carson Fulmer, 2 of his last 3 starts in Charlotte have been only 1 walk. The start in the middle was 6 walks, 1 strikeout, but only 2 earned runs. And so there are some positive signs interspersed with a rough start control-wise 2 starts ago. Be interesting to watch that Charlotte rotation now with Jordan Stevens, Carson Fulmer, Michael Kopech. Sebi Zavala goes up there to be a catcher.
Sebi can hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things he can do, and now that he's entirely healthy, we'll see how he fares in AAA.
Defense, from all accounts, has gotten better this year for Sebi Zavala down in AA. And there's not the logjam of catchers in Birmingham anymore. Zach Collins stays there in AA, and Blake Rutherford stays in Winston-Salem with quite a few of his outfield compatriots moving up to AA, including that 22nd round pick Joel Booker, who you mentioned earlier, had 4 hits in his first game in Birmingham. Three and 1 for Olsen. On the ground pass first.
Matt Olson has hit the ball hard, but that's the first hit today. Shoots this one by Jose and into right field.
Off speed and down. 1 ball, no strikes on Canna, who scored twice. That makes now 6 runs in 4 games against the Sox this year for Canna. To third, Sanchez. Moncada. Double play. Bottom 9 comes your way next.
And it is the spelling of Manaea and the pitching of Manaea. Generally, it's all things Manaea. He was very good today. His record's going to get one game above 500. He was throwing in front of the home folks, and he did quite a job. And it was indeed Magic Manaea and Manaea Mania all wrapped into one neat package. And Josh Lucas comes into this one on for the 6th time. His ERA a touch over 4. There you look at the rest of the numbers.
Now I know why they were having such a difficult time spelling Manaea Mania earlier. Because they were trying to spell Magic Manaea instead.
There you go.
They did swap out a bunch of A's though. The first A's couldn't go in the second position, and that was ridiculous. But congratulations to Sean Manaea pitching in front of his family and friends. Liam Hendricks, 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and now Lucas, who has short time in the majors. There's Dad, Sean's father, who is from American Samoa. Game number 11 for Lucas in the majors. Starts with ball 1. Former 21st round pick of the Cardinals, Josh Lucas. Two balls and a strike on Smith. Oakland with 4 in the second, 4 in the 5th, 3 in the 8th. And an 11-1 lead. That was to Chuck Garfien land. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's an amusement park I would buy season tickets to. Chuck Garfien land?
Yeah, there's having a discount on that.
What do you think the headlining ride would be? Let's let people tweet in.
Okay.
It's a major ride at Chuck Garfien land.
Yeah, it'd be better if they did it than we did.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Smith. Wonder if it's like Graceland where you can buy lifetime passes. Do you know that? You can buy a lifetime pass to Elvis's home.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
You're always a shrewd negotiator.
Yep.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Kevin. And that one hit him. So Smith is on. So game number 2, our probable pitchers, Lucas Giolito and Chris Bassett. Bassett spent a good chunk of his year with AAA Nashville. Giolito has been up here in the majors the whole season. Lucas trying to right the ship against this Oakland team. It's a little bit low. There's a strike on the corner to Garcia, who's 2 for 3 in his return to the lineup. Back for the first time since May 23rd. Avi got hurt on April 23rd. Leori got hurt on May 23rd. So if you're a Garcia in Major League Baseball coming up tomorrow, beware.
Don't play.
Yeah, stay home. 1 down.
Second baseman, number 10,
One down from Okada, who bats from the left-hand side for the first time in the game. First base. Olson had a notion. Instead, he takes the easy one. Smith to second, 2 down.
I think that Matt Olson decided that 10 runs up, you might as well take the out when it's presented to you.
Seems logical.
Yeah.
So Sanchez trying to keep it alive for the Sox. Sox got their lone run in the 6th on a Kevin Smith double play ball. It ended up scoring Abreu, but Matt Davidson thrown out at third after Smith was out at first. And strike 1 to Sanchez.
Lucas throws a sinker and a moving fastball. And at the velocities he throws, that's really what you're trying to do. Make it move late, and get your ground balls.
Left-hand side. Canna has no play. Oh, and 2. In the air, right center field, ticketed for the alleyway and over the wall on a hop. Kevin Smith, who was at second, comes around to score. Sanchez an RBI. It's 11-2.
Kind of hoping that one stayed in. It's RBI number 30, would have been anyway, but I'd like to see Yomer with another triple. And he cranks this ball. Let one hop out of the ballpark.
So here's Engel, who takes ball one. Could have been triple number 9 for Yolmer. He had 8 all of last season, and not even to the halfway point. This year, he leads the majors with 8. First doubleheader between the Sox and A's since the 80s, and it looks as though the opener is going to go the wrong way. Sanchez at second, 2 out. To third. Lowry has to hurry and does get Engel for the final out. So the A's win the opener of the Twin Bill. 11-2, game 2 coming between 30 and 40 minutes from now.
And normally I'd tell you to get your rest, but you can't because it's only 30 to 40 minutes. However, remember what happened in this game in every aspect of the game, and then forget it, and we'll come back and do better in the second game.
Sounds good to me. All right, talk to you then. For our producer, Keon Dolan-Shahi, our director, Jim Angio, associate producer, Dave Ross, technical manager, Mark Harper, the executive producer, Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew. For Chuck Harfine downstairs, for Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti saying so long from Guaranteed Rate Field. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox post-game live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball, and you will be in a little while again on NBC Sports Chicago.